Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Devotions. Pastor Steve here, walking with you in God's Word. And as we listen to God's Word, we're listening to Jesus in our Lenten walk. And he has a pretty big punch today. He has some pretty incredible words. They're actually really popular words that we've heard before. When I say the parable of the Good Samaritan, a lot of us can be able to just run that narrative through our head. But I want us to read it today. I want us to listen to it today in a way that's actually meeting our walk of faith. During this Lenten walk, we want to reflect upon our sin. We want to reflect upon the confrontation of that sin, but yet the contrast of that, listening to Jesus and how he sets us forward into this way. So, we are in Luke chapter 10, verse 25, the parable of the Good Samaritan, and we are looking to the words of Jesus, listening to the words of Jesus to be able to give us our direction for this day. Luke chapter 10, verse 25. On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. Hear that in. Expert in the law. He knows the law. He knows the scriptures. And so he says to Jesus, but he's saying this to test Jesus, see what his expertise in the law is. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? We'll answer that question real quickly. You're saved by grace through faith. It's the work of God that gives us eternal life. However, this question, this answer is it's obtained by those who keep the law according to the Pharisees. So, Jesus, expert in the law, asking him these questions, says to him, what is written in the law? And he replied, how do you read it? How do you interpret it? The expert in the law answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourselves. Jesus said, you have answered correctly. Do this and you will live. You got this right. Actually, the law is being able to push you towards your relationship with God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength. This is all from Deuteronomy. This has been from the law. This has been from the time that God chose Israel. This is what he put in place. Love God and love others. It's pretty simple. This new commandment I give to you, Jesus said to his disciples on the Last Supper. Love God and love others. It hasn't changed. Yet, do this, and you will live. Yet, but, verse 29, this is a big part of the narrative, but the expert in the law wanted to justify himself. This is where he goes wrong. So he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor? Who's my neighbor? Who should I love? I love God with all my heart, soul, and strength and mind. I'm the expert in the law. I can keep his rituals, his traditions, the worship that I do. We have that all scripted out. But who is my neighbor to justify himself? Right? Who should I be serving? Who should I be loving? And in reply, Jesus said, the parable of the Good Samaritan. A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. They stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road. When he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. So too, a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, took him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said. And when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have. So here we get to see an expert in the law, somebody who's been around the synagogue and been around the temple, right? A Levite passed him by, right? A priest who should know well of being able to help and have the ability to help. That's what these priests and Levites had. Samaritan is this, as they would call it, the Jews would call it, a half-breed. They are not really of Jewish descent. So they're not really in our system. And so they're off to the side, and Jesus is bringing forth the reality that who is his neighbor? That's what he asked in the next question, verse 36. Which of these three do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers? Love, the love of God, and the love to others has no bounds, has no caste system, has no, you're in this system, I'm in this system. The love of God is for all. And so he's asking, how do I inherit eternal life? You got it right. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You got that right. This is the great command. But how do you live that out? You might know it, but do you live it out? Who was a neighbor to this man who fell into this place? The one who had mercy upon him. The one who had mercy upon him. So you know the way. You know the way to love God and love others. But listen to Jesus on this. Do you live it out? Do you act it out? Do you look upon others and people say, are they deserving? That's what the first two people did. He's going to take my time. He's going to make me unclean. He's going to have, this has way too many ramifications. I'll just pass by and not show mercy. But yet the Samaritan who even took the 2 silver coins, a 2 months' wages, as it would say there, and boarded him and put him on his donkey, sacrificed for him, had mercy upon him. He was the neighbor that Jesus says, you know that you should love God and love others. You've heard it, you've learned it, you know it, but do you live it? Listen to Jesus. It's just more than words. It is not just talking the talk. It's walking the walk. And so Jesus said in verse 37, the expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him, that's the neighbor. He knew it. And Jesus told him, listen to Jesus, go and do likewise. There's that word again, go. An active faith. Go and do likewise. Have mercy upon the people that are in your path. No matter who they are, what they've done, have mercy upon them. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and your soul and mind. There's your first part of that relationship, and it just pushes you. It tells you to go and do likewise. It says you go and have mercy because our Heavenly Father has had mercy on us. Go and be merciful. Go and do likewise. Don't just know it. Don't just hear it. Don't just sit on a Sunday morning and hear that word of God and it sets into your heart and you're amazed by the amazing grace and the indescribable love of God the Father, and then go and not live it, but rather listen to Jesus. Go and do likewise. Have mercy on the people that you encounter. Have love towards anybody, all the people. Don't worry about the caste system or who they are. It's easy to love the people that love you, but it's hard to love your enemies. As Jesus says before, listen to Jesus. Love God and love others. You know it. Now live it. Go and do likewise. Let's listen to Jesus, those last words, last 4 words, and I pray that we can just live out that act of faith this day. A blessed day to you as you go and do likewise.